Hey, how's it going, everybody? My name is SockBot, and today I want to talk about something a bit more meta than usual. So, in the past few videos I've made have really brought me back into Little Big Planet, you know, my title game, but they've honestly reminded me why I love creating so much. I know that a lot of you, though, are not, like, super hardcore creators, and that's fine. Honestly, I really wouldn't consider myself a hardcore creator either, but for those of you who have dabbled a little bit, or even not at all, this video is definitely for you, and particularly to prove to you that all of those, like, "it's not for me" comments that you make or friends make are absolutely and positively false. Alright, so maybe it isn't for you, but at least give me these next few minutes to try to convince you, and obviously if these tips don't work, well, you can resume spamming my Twitter with awful pictures of when I used to dress like a Hot Topic employee whose mom wouldn't let him get gauges. Alright, well maybe don't do that, because BAM! I beat you to the punch. Sorry about that. But what I am going to do today is I'm going to chat a bit about why creating games is fun, you know, really delve into why parts of it satisfy our weirdo brains, and then I'm going to explain how to approach creative games and creation in general in order for you to have the best possible experience that you can. And then finally, I'm going to give a little bit of insight on how I got started in Little Big Planet that hopefully you can use when you're having like the 2:30 feeling, except creating a level. And then, except it's not 2:30 p.m. and you need a 5-hour energy, it's like 4 a.m. and you've been creating for 2.5 hours and think, oh, maybe I should go to sleep. But then you watch this video or see or remember this video and remember that the third part of the second part of the first part has smacked you in the face because sleep is for the weak. Anyways, if you do like this kind of video, please leave a like down below. It really helps me a lot, and please consider subscribing to my channel to join your fellow SockBots, myself included. And don't worry, I don't rule with an iron fist, so even if you're into that or something of the sort, all I will do is occasionally sprinkle some knowledge on top of your subscription box every Thursday and Saturday, unless I'm demonetized, or often other days because I'm really bad at the whole schedule thing. Now, why the heck is creating fun? Well, in the past we've talked a lot about why playing games is fun, because that's obviously important to know if you're trying to create a fun game, but creating games in itself is way different. And if you're sitting there saying, you know, something along the lines of, "I don't care, I just like creating," well, great, but stick around anyways, because one, hopefully this video can give you some insight on why that is, and two, I need the view time so that my dad doesn't make me sleep in the yard and, you know, call me a soulless heathen. So yeah, for the most part, any game player will see a create mode in a game and think, well, yeah, I thought about doing this. I've always wanted to create something that I generally spend 20 hours a week playing myself, so I'll try it out. But I've actually introduced quite a few people to this game, and honestly, a lot of them reach the point where they think, what is the point of all of this? Well, little Gabriel, who had an existential crisis in his room at age 13, worry not your little head. Let me explain. So, more and more these days, video games are getting the credit that they deserve as an art form, and in college I actually wrote a paper on this called Video Games, When Will They Get the Credit They Deserve as an Art Form? True story. It was actually the best grade I've ever gotten on a paper, and it made it onto, you know, my professor's personal blog, so biggest achievement of my life. Anyways, hence, I know I've mentioned this before, but the point here, and the main point of that essay, was that video games are an art form. A level is a piece of art that you can run around in, combined with the storytelling of a movie and the obstacles that only a game can provide, and the challenge there. So, I know there are way too many reasons to kind of list off why people like creating art, because every one of us finds something satisfying about it. I mean, there's definitely a reason why literally everyone draws as a kid, and it's not just to build motor skills. Personally, I like just creating something so I can visually stand back from it and just look at it all at once. So that's definitely part of it, for some people and particularly for me. Now, that part of creation has nothing to do with the fantasy of running around the world. If you ever built a box fort as a kid, you may recognize some of those same feelings when you build a house in Minecraft or a level in Little Big Planet. It's the same sort of thing. There's something about creating a space that is entirely yours that people tend to find very satisfying. Honestly, I wish I had a psychology friend or something like that to, you know, say exactly why that is, but for my friends and myself, I can say with, you know, like 75% accuracy that that's the case. So we got the art aspect and the fort escapism aspect, so let's go back to Little Big Planet and dreams, because that's the whole point of this video, so we can talk about how to enjoy creation to the fullest. So with creative endeavors in general, it's important to set small goals for yourself. Don't worry, I'm not going to go like all life coach or, intense speech on you, but give me a minute to explain an example that hopefully a lot of you can relate to. So I personally play a lot of Minecraft. I always have. So a few years ago, or maybe more, because I don't actually remember and I'm old, but I was trying really hard to get a bunch of my friends into Minecraft because it's so fun to play with a group. Partially because, showing off your stuff to other people is super fun, which I'll talk about later because that's an important part of this video, but also because, we're humans, and humans like socializing. So the first few times that I tried to get my friends into this game, I had to deal with the awful question that I know a lot of you get, and I get all the time from non-gamers, and then in certain games, like Minecraft, from even hardcore gamers, which is, what's the point of all of this? And it's a fair question. There's no chapters or ending in Minecraft, so it's an especially fair question in there. Well, there are, I guess, chapters in that, and there's an end in the game, but that's not the point of the game. All around me are familiar faces. So with a sandbox game like Minecraft, and even with more guided games like MMOs, most of us have asked that question at some point or another. The solution is to create your own goals. Make small or big ones before you start playing, and then if you're playing with friends, tell them. And if they're going to be joining you, kind of invite them into the process. So there's a really good example. I got all my friends super excited over a super small goal in Minecraft. We wanted to build a resort on the side of a mountain next to a waterfall. So that instantly gave us a starting point. We needed to find a waterfall, we needed to get materials, and then we needed to build the structure, and the whole time, another goal was to not be killed at night or by falling off the mountain. That second part we were really bad at, but yeah, that was it. There was no Ender Dragon involved, and it was truly one of the best times I've had playing Minecraft. Worn out places, worn out faces. So, I know that was a really long example, but these types of goals, whether it's like my last video where you want to recreate something, say from a Super Mario, or a unique level that you want to create based on a dream that you had, which is kind of ironic considering Dreams is coming out, or you want to just create something like a giant robot. Making those goals for yourself stops a lot of that why from interrupting your fun. And achieving them, like all goals, is super fun and super satisfying. Again, it's just like a human thing. We like completing goals, especially the ones that we set for ourselves. Okay, so now, even with all of this, it is hard for a lot of people, including just about every person I've introduced to the game, to get over the, oh, but no one's gonna see it, why am I making this if no one's gonna see it? Well, as a YouTube creator, most would probably say something along the lines of, oh, I'm creating it for myself, and don't get me wrong, that's true. I love the process of scripting, filming, editing, and posting myself, and I really love the process of making fun circuits and creating art in Little Big Planet in the form of a level, but showing our creations to other people in hope of praise is just innately human. We do that in literally every aspect of our life. Being praised for working hard and creating something feels good, and showing that work to other people is honestly an essential part of the process to me. So no, I'm not going to just say, do it for yourself and nobody else. Instead, I'll be honest with you. So maybe you have the issue because most of your levels you post to Media Molecule servers and maybe they just get a few plays or just like a heart or two. Well, my current solution is to not rely on that and instead post about my levels here on YouTube and on other sites too, like Reddit, where you can, post run-throughs or pictures of your levels for other people to gawk at, and that is pretty fun because the community is actually quite small, so if you do it there, people will actually see your content. But here's a solution for just every day. Make the level for your friends. Whether they're online friends or in-person friends, praise from them feels way better than any random online praise that you could possibly have. Just trust me on that. And if you are about to say, well, I don't have any friends to create for, or I don't have any friends that will play with me, well, first, try to introduce them to the game by playing some online levels and then wowing them by saying that they're user created. Trust me, that always gets them. Or, hey, maybe show them some of my levels or, whatever. Yeah, but once they played a little bit, ask them to help you playtest one of your levels. Trust me, I have never had anyone say no to that. So, yeah, except for the one astronaut that's currently in the audience screaming at me saying he has no friends at all. Well, fine, so Mr. Neil, just post your PSN down in the comments below, and I will personally give you feedback on your level. Seriously, I would love to. screw it, I'll give you feedback over voice comms. I mean, we can play together on other people's levels if you want. If all else fails, I'm just trying to tell you guys that you have me here. This is a community. Okay, so speaking of me, I mean, when are we not speaking of me? Not full of myself at all. But did think that this, this was a good time to say that that technique I mentioned, it's actually something that I used when I bought Little Big Planet. So going back, I actually got the game in 2008, about a week after its release. I'd seen a lot of hype, just before it came out because so many people had seen the game previously from a lot of previews and then were kind of surprised by it when it was actually released or about to be released. So I ended up buying it knowing about the create mode and it intrigued me like right away. I played a huge amount of the game with my friends from high school because, yes, I was in high school, and I'm really sorry for anybody that's significantly older or younger than me, and I'm making you feel weird, but yeah, I was in high school, and I started creating levels because I wanted to have something new to play every weekend when I would hang out with my friends from high school anyways. So generally, I would create about 3/4 of a level within that 1 week, and so then that weekend, I would play that with them, find another massive amount of bugs in the level, and so then the next week I would finish and QA it and then play with them the following weekend. So then after that we would then play through all of my previous levels that I'd made, or if we ran out, just some online levels to, round out the fun night of Little Big Planet. But each time I would refine my levels and my creation skills into, well, I guess like the rusty, modest ones that I have today. But honestly, I wouldn't even mind if the levels that I made were buggy for my friends, because if that sort of frustration is happening in small doses, it can be kind of hilarious to watch on both sides. I think I've only ever had one controller thrown at me at some point, and though I definitely developed a reputation, it was super fun. And as I'm talking about all of this, there is kind of like a small caveat, or is that the word? Can a caveat be good? But anyways, there's a small note that creating for your friends can be way different than creating for like any odd player who would come across the level online. For one, you can be there to sort of guide them through the level if need be, and then you surpass any of like the detailed cues you would normally need for a level. Don't go overboard on this because you can do that, but it's definitely a possibility. So for two, you can be there to fix any issues on the fly if any are found. And for three, you can make levels just for that group. I made an entire series of level based on the Valve game Portal because all of my friends were super into it at the time. It had literally nothing to do with the game, to be perfectly honest, but it was really fun for us. So those levels were impossible for most people, but even with all of the horrible glitches and parts of the game made completely unnecessarily hard, we did have a great time pushing through it. And honestly, now we can complete that level like it's a science. It's kind of amazing and pretty flattering that they spend so much time on it. But anyways, hopefully I've lessened some of your issues with create mode and making games in general. So to recap, creating games is an art form. Simple and simple. You have to set goals, you want to create small ones and big ones that will help you through the creation process, but then the satisfaction at the end is going to make you want to do it over and over again. So after that, show it to who you can, get feedback, or just have a hell of a time and fun joking or whatever you do when you show off the level. So again, my knowledge is based entirely in Little Big Planet and now Dreams, so I'm sure some of my arguments work and some fall a little short for other platforms, but like I always say, this is my experience. Now, I am super interested to hear if any of you have similar experiences creating for friends or running into the same existential problems when you do create, so let me know in a comment down below. I literally always respond unless for some reason someone doesn't want me to, so don't be scared. And hey, if you want to play or create together, let me know. I'm still a small channel and I'm always down to collab with fellow weirdos, so alrighty then, fellow weirdos. I don't know if I like that, but like and subscribe to this channel if you want to, but regardless of anything, I do love you guys, and I will talk to you all in the next video, which will hopefully be in a couple days. Alright, goodbye! Bye!